So let's get right into it. We're joined by Grae Drake from Rotten Tomatoes. She's senior editor, and Lauren Zima is here with us in New York. Grae, to you first. What'd you think? Surprises? Shocks?
I am so sad that Big Sick didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but I am so happy that it ended up. Oh, but I'm so happy that it did get an original screenplay nod. That's good enough.
So what is it about Big Sick that made you think they deserve a nomination for sure?
This was another film that came out in the middle of the year, and it just had so much spirit, so much heart. One of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. It just kept people talking. This is a Golden Tomato winner, by the way. So the critics loved it, and audiences love it too. But I will say, it's streaming right now, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, check it out because it's great.
It was a wonderful movie.
Who needs an Oscar when you have a Golden Tomato? Seriously.
It was a wonderful movie. Lauren, let's talk about leading actress and leading actor. Sally Hawkins, Frances McDormand, Margot Robbie, Saoirse Ronan, and Meryl Streep. Really tough category for the ladies there.
Yes, I mean, Meryl Streep, I think this is something like her 21st nomination. Certainly not a surprise that she gets nominated, but I'm not sure if she'll win this one. For women, it's a great year and a tight year, I think. Of course, for Best Supporting, Allison Janney seems like a lock on Best Supporting for me. But Best Actress, Meryl Streep, and Frances McDormand has really been killing it so far at awards season this year, so I could see her taking this one. I'm happy to see that nomination for Margot Robbie because she put her blood, sweat, and tears into I, Tonya, championing that movie, getting it made. And then, of course, Saoirse for Lady Bird. That movie was, is that still your best reviewed movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes, Grae?
Boy, it sure is close. It's only one review away. It got beaten this year by Paddington 2, believe it or not. But Saoirse Ronan,
another surprise.
It's so good.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so wait. So that's a prediction for next year, by the way. Paddington 2 is probably going to be a nomination. Oh, and while we're talking about animated, can I just give a gigantic shout to Boss Baby?
Boss Baby was great. Boss Baby was good. I actually like Boss Baby. I saw it with my nephews. Really good. A lot of fun, yeah. All right, great. What about leading actor? Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Day-Lewis, Daniel Kaluuya, Gary Oldman, and Denzel. I mean, another really difficult category. I love Daniel Day-Lewis, but you know, Timothy Chalamet apparently is the one to watch here.
So wait, let me throw out some emotional stuff because there's emotions too, right? Daniel Day-Lewis just announced that this is his last movie. Has he announced that before, though? I feel like he's retired before. Okay,
he has talked about retiring before. Yes. So see, people are now saying this could be his last movie.
Right. Okay, so go ahead, Grae. Your take on that.
Well, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep both, this just seems like, you know what, the Oscars, they just want to nominate them all the time. It's like a shout to them. But to me, in the actor category, Timothy Chalamet was so amazing, so exciting. What a fresh, wonderful performance. But Gary Oldman has won everything, and this is a career-long Oscar if we just continue to give Gary Oldman awards, because he's never won anything, and it's time. It is officially time. Now, that category is exciting to me because of the nomination for Denzel. I wasn't expecting that one, but mostly Daniel Kaluuya.
I think,
hooray!
Yeah, I'm happy for Daniel Kaluuya, but I sort of feel like this isn't his first time. He'll get another one. He's got an amazing career ahead of him. Denzel does Denzel. I mean, I love Denzel Washington, but it's getting to the point where, you know, when Denzel is in a movie, he's going to deliver, he's going to be amazing, but it's going to be similar to other characters that he's played.
I think we're also seeing a lot of movies where performances were great, but maybe not the movie overall. That movie, Roman J. Israel Esquire, did not get very well reviewed, didn't do that well, but people did say, you know, his performance, and he's Denzel. Timothy Chalamet, I think, is another one where he's been such a breakout star this year, kind of like Daniel, as you were just saying. We don't think this is the last we're going to see of Timothy. And by the way, he's just been such a delight. It's so fun to watch someone experience all this for the first time. And then, Daniel Day-Lewis may be his last one. But I'm excited overall to see Get Out get some of the love that it did get here today, because it came out a little while ago. It was sort of a controversial movie in terms of where it fit, but such a box office success and such a hit movie.
What about Best Supporting Actor? We have Battle of the Billboard actors again, right? We have Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell both nominated. But also a movie that I heard a lot about, but I didn't see a lot in terms of the nominations, Willem Dafoe in The Florida Project, right?
Yeah, I mean, he has been getting tons of praise for his performance in that movie, and the movie overall has gotten a great response. But Sam Rockwell just seems like he is shutting down this awards season and shutting out his co-star Woody Harrelson. Though the movie's been getting a little bit of backlash in the past couple of days for the way it's sort of handling a lot of difficult subject matter. So, Grae, what do you think? Is this Sam Rockwell's again?
Well, Sam Rockwell has a lot of momentum at this point, so I think that ultimately he's next to a lock for this one. But the big person missing from this category is actually Armie Hammer for Call Me by Your Name. Where was he?
Yeah. I gotta say, guys, it goes back to before the commercial. We were talking about the Me Too movement in the industry. In the Best Directing category, I mean, Greta Gerwig is nominated for Lady Bird, but I'm really disappointed that Patty Jenkins is not in this category. I actually think that that's a huge mistake on the part of these voters. I don't know if it's because it's a superhero movie. Now everybody knows who watches CBS News that I'm a superhero nerd. But I just think that movie, in fact, when I watched that movie, the first thing I thought is this is actually not a superhero movie. It's a great war film. It's a film about war, about refugees, very timely. And to see her not in this category is sort of heartbreaking.
I agree. It was heartbreaking when she didn't get the Golden Globe. Yeah. She's been shut out over and over again, and what she achieved in making such a watchable, such a thought-provoking movie that was also a hit at the box office with a female lead character. You would think if anybody was going to say this is the time to give a woman the female directing nomination, it's now. And I'm glad to see, Greta Gerwig get that, but big disappointment.
What do you
Not
think,
surprising.
Grae? I'm just curious what you think, Grae.
Yeah, I think ultimately when it's the Oscars, the fact that you directed a superhero movie hurts you more than it helps you. And this is the reason that I think the Oscars viewership has really declined, because that movie, more than most this year, really resonated with both audiences and critics. They lost their minds because it's a great movie. And it brought like a whole new energy to the whole superhero genre. And that's exactly what they should be recognizing at the Oscars. But the fact that they don't, and they usually don't, means that nobody watches.
Right, and then you have a movie like The Darkest Hour. I was surprised that got a Best Picture nomination, and I have not seen it. I mean, Gary Oldman getting praised, but I was surprised that made the Best Picture.
And again, going back to my point, which is that Wonder Woman was a war film. I mean, the Dunkirks and The Darkest Hours we've seen those movies over and over and over again. A towering performance by a towering actor set against a historical backdrop, which has been told since the start of the motion picture industry.
Right. Well, I'm curious. We are coming on the heels of #Oscars So White and Me Too, and the Academy really tried. It appeared as if the Academy really tried to tweak things, tried to open up or at least add more people to the voting process, diversify the voting process. I'm wondering if you two ladies see that reflected in the choices here. I'll ask you, Lauren, first.
Well, I am glad, like I said, to see Get Out get more than I probably thought that it would get.
Jordan Peele's nominated Best Director. That's rare.
So I am really happy to see that acknowledgement there. Of course, there's just always room for so much more. And I feel and I hope we're just at the beginning of making those changes and strides.
Yeah. What do you think, Grae?
Yeah, I love the directing category, especially because at the Golden Globes, it was so boring it put me to sleep. So here at the Oscars, they finally corrected that. Love seeing Greta Gerwig and Jordan Peele in there, and also Guillermo del Toro. This is also, by the way, I know that he's not necessarily part of the demo that we want to celebrate, but Christopher Nolan has never been nominated for a Best Director Oscar, and he has never gotten one. And it's not going to be his year, I hope, because I would much rather recognize some other directors in that category. But it is about time. So I think that they've done a good job overall, but it always needs to get better.
So interesting how all the money in the world worked out, because Ridley Scott originally talked about Christopher Plummer for that role, and then Kevin Spacey was brought in, I believe, to make the movie a little bit more bankable. That was the rumor, and then now here we are with Christopher Plummer getting that moment, and it's great. And you know what? Sometimes Hollywood can be a little ageist, so I like this for Christopher Plummer. Yes,
I mean, there's a possibility that they could deliver quite a strong statement if he won, right?
Yes, indeed. I mean, well, he's an amazing actor too. I mean, it's not just the fact that he replaced Kevin Spacey, but but he's an incredible actor. He's been nominated for an Oscar before. I'm not sure if he won, maybe for The Sound of Music or for something else, but it is ironic that the replacement of Kevin Spacey is now nominated for an Academy Award. I also agree with you guys that it's good to see Jordan Peele get nominated, and it's great. You know, the original screenplay, Get Out, is The Big Sick is an incredible film. People should watch that.
100%, and I love that it's male and female writing duo, husband and wife. Yep. We had a person of color writing it and bringing that movie to screen, and a woman, and so it's just wonderful to see these strides. Again, we can always do more, but we are making those strides.
So who do you think takes in the two screenplay categories? Original screenplay, Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, Shape of Water, 3 Billboards. That's original, and adapted is Call Me by Your Name, Disaster Artist, Logan, superhero movie, Molly's Game, Mudbound. Who do you see in the adapted screenplay, Lauren?
In the adapted screenplay, oh gosh, give them to me one more time.
Call Me by Your Name, Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound.
I could see Call Me by Your Name taking this one. Logan is so much fun. I actually think this is kind of a tough category because Molly's Game has Aaron Sorkin writing it. People love him, and I've heard that movie's amazing. And Logan was a big hit at the box office too, so it would just be fun to see it win.
I would just like to say Coco was excellent. Coco was snubbed in Best Picture. I laughed, I cried. It kept my 6-year-old busy for 2 hours, which is quite an accomplishment.
She's going to be wearing her Coco shirt.
Overnights and has a kid, so she's not a big movie goer.
No, because I fall asleep.
But she has seen Coco, so that's why she's rooting for Coco. Grae, before we let you go, real quick, original screenplay, who do you like?
Boy, original screenplay. Give me all the nominees, because Shape of Water stands out immediately.
Lady Bird, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay, so Shape of Water has a lot of momentum in this category because guess what? Best Picture winners usually go to original screenplays, right? So, wait, hold on. I'm getting this all wrong. Best Picture winners go to adapted screenplays, but this year the trend is going to be bucked because I think Shape of Water is probably going to take original screenplay, and I think that it's going to win Best Picture. But you guys know my heart belongs to The Big Sick, and Get Out was one of the most memorable movie moments in the past 5 years easily.
I agree. I think The Shape of Water is probably going to win the Best Picture, but I would love for it to be Get Out. I hope that it pulls it out. It could be.
And shout out to Guillermo del Toro. I've interviewed him, about the Me Too movement and all this, and he's said, just like he gave in that speech at the Golden Globes, he loves writing great roles for women. He has always done that. Shape of Water has Sally Hawkins in this amazing part and Octavia Spencer, so that's been a focus of his. So, it's a tough year for men to kind of approach award season, I think, and to say things without saying things wrong. But he has always been somebody who's wanted to write great female characters.
All right, this has been a great conversation.
I
feel like I've watched most of these movies just by going through this conversation. Lauren Zima from Entertainment Tonight and Grae Drake from Rotten Tomatoes. Thank you so much.